Hey guys, today we are taking a peek at the Banner Saga, a brand new strategy RPG. This game is set in a fantasy world where the sun has become stuck in the sky, resulting in everlasting day. The game is dialogue heavy with very little voice acting, although there is some as you travel between map locations. However, in all the conversations, it's up to you to do the reading. Although a lot of people are introduced at quite a rapid pace, the characterisation and writing makes it easy to distinguish them, as each are memorable in their own right. The combat is all turn-based. No matter how many enemies or friendlies there are on the field, it will alternate between sides. The exception to this is when there is only one man left standing on one side, at which point you go into pillage mode, and each character gets one turn each round, even when they greatly outnumber the opponent. The basic element of fighting is choosing whether to attack an enemy's armour or strength. Strength dictates health and damage dealt by an opponent, but armour reduces your attack power on them and can deflect blows, cancelling out the attack. As well as just hitting them, you have the option to use up willpower points, which can buff the damage you do, and have special abilities such as Tempest, which allows you to damage multiple enemies in one turn with a sweeping swing of the weapon, or another which will knock the bad guys back while making them bleed out if they move. This makes the combat much more dynamic and means it requires thought into who you place where and when is the right time to use up those willpower points, as they won't regen during combat. It can be quite tricky fighting until you get used to the idea of it, but even if one of your team should fall, they don't die. They are just useless for the rest of the battle. This of course might change as you delve further into the game. You often face multiple enemies and need to choose who to prioritise. Do you get rid of the main guy who does all the damage first, or take out his friends who aren't as threatening but will still chip away at your team as you try to take down the big threat? There are both ranged and melee characters, and the melee themselves vary from tank to the more squishy but agile spearmen or axe wielders. Graphically the game is great, it's a brilliant style of art and isn't static. When engaged in dialogue they have added movement to the scenes, be it just snow falling or tapping fingers. Each bit certainly feels a lot more alive for it. A lot of the names are rather hard to pronounce for people or places. Let's just say I was really glad when I finally met a guy who just wanted to be called Gil. The soundtrack is beautiful and very fitting, and for the voice acting when you travel, it would be great to actually have some subtitles which I couldn't find anywhere, but it was well done. And when you move between areas, that's when you get to see why it's called the Banner Saga. Control-wise, all you need is a mouse. You'll get dialogue options as you interact, although I did have a small issue here where some bits got skipped occasionally, even though I was being very careful not to double-click after the first instance that happened. From what I could find, there was no option to go back in the conversation either. This wasn't constant and didn't affect my gameplay too much, but a back button would have been a nice feature. I did also encounter a couple of typos, but so rarely they did not impact on my enjoyment or throw me for a loop. As you travel on the road, you will encounter events, where you need to choose how to act or proceed. These can affect outcomes and characters who fight for you. Supplies are needed as you go. You can replenish these at towns, but don't run out. Morale will help your troops in combat, improve this by resting up and taking time away from the fights. As your units get kills, they gain renown points. Use these points to level up your characters, where you can choose to improve their basic attributes or unlock new levels of their special skills. There are also wearable items that you can put on for buffs and bonuses. Overall, I had a great time with this game. It felt engaging and the combat certainly wasn't straightforward hack and slash. So although I didn't do too great at it, there was still a lot of fun to be had. If you're a fan of the genre, I would certainly recommend grabbing this title. Even if it's not usually your thing, it's worth a look. Although I've not finished the game yet, it's been marketed at 12 to 15 hours for a playthrough, apparently also with enough unique choices and characters that it would merit more than one completion of it. I'll be finishing this off pretty pronto and I can't wait to see how it all turns out. If I've piqued your interest, I've linked the Steam page in the description. I've been OnlyMezza, see you next time.